Hello everybody, welcome back to the Centaur Fragrance channel. It's a pleasure to have you here today as always. So thank you so much for stopping by. It's a pleasure to have you as always. If you're new to my channel or a subscriber, you're always welcome here. So let's talk about a very good fragrance overall. A fragrance that gets a lot of love here and there. Overall, it's not hyped per se, but it's loved, and it's a top seller for good reason. This is ELYSIUM by ROJA Parfums. So let's talk about the fragrance itself, the smell and composition. Then let's talk about, the projection, longevity, the complement factor, and the price in that order, like we like to do here. So first off, this fragrance smells fantastic. It's compared to Ventus by Creed, and it really does have some similarities. First off, you are going to get a pineapple. Now, this pineapple still does smell more of a pineapple, but there's some citruses behind it. There's, I believe, some lime, some bergamot. Here it says there's some grapefruit as well. So it has this overall a little more of a freshness than pineapple, but the pineapple still has its character. It's still, you can still tell there's pineapple here. So the opening, that kind of dies off rather quickly. The pineapple still kind of comes through with the fragrance, but this fragrance really isn't a pineapple dominated fragrance. If I was to put it into words, I would say that this fragrance is like 20% or maybe 30% Aventus, and then the rest of it, 70% Bleu de Chanel. Some people say it's Sauvage, but I think it's more Bleu de Chanel. But overall, it has this kind of blue character. It's not really aquatic, but it almost has that blue kind of men's cologne vibe going on as it dries down. Now that might sound cheap, but it's done really well here. It does smell really good, I guess in the best way possible. Bleu de Chanel is a really top seller. It does really well for a good reason. It says there's pink pepper here, and at first I really wasn't thinking about that. This fragrance isn't spicy, but you can tell that there's a little bit of that pink pepper going on. It just has this a little bit of an invigorating kind of freshness to it. So this fragrance is very fresh all around. Pineapple, citruses, pink pepper, and then that cedar wood has a little bit of sharpness in the dry down. Now, if you're a fan of cedar wood, if you love cedar wood, this isn't a dark cedar wood or a deep cedar wood. Definitely nothing smoky here, but overall, the cedar comes through. The cedar smells like high quality. The cedar it smells fantastic. And when I was smelling this, I didn't hear about that cedar note. Not a lot of reviewers talked about it. Not a lot of reviewers, told me or told everybody about that cedar, and it's really prevalent. This fragrance, it seems like it's a little bit more base notes. I know it's called a cologne intense, perhaps because it's not focused on the top notes as much as it is on the bottom notes, because this fragrance, it just feels that way. It's really interesting. It's kind of a hybrid of things, and I'm not sure if it's more focused on the fleeting citrus side of it, or if it's more focused on the woody, ambergris type of dry down going on here. But the ambergris kind of feel isn't near as loud as Sauvage, and it's much more natural. So overall, it smells very high quality, like you would expect from a ROJA perfume. So the projection, longevity, this is where it starts to get iffy, especially when we start jumping into the price. Now, this fragrance on my skin was a 6-hour fragrance, maybe a 7-hour fragrance if I was lucky. On myself personally, I couldn't smell it after 5 hours, but other people could seem to pick it up, and it was really pleasant to them. So that's not a bad thing. It really does a fair job. I wouldn't say it's beast mode, and there is an extrait or a concentrate version, so perhaps you could go for that. So overall, with the projection, it performs pretty good, and I would say it's about moderate projection, arm's length, maybe more. It's not a shouter, but perhaps in this kind of feel of things, with Aventus, perhaps you are looking for, a more mass appealing, more modern, more easy to wear, perhaps for a younger man kind of Aventus. So this might be what you're looking for, and it doesn't shout too loud, so it won't offend anybody in any way. It's much, I think it could be said that this is even more versatile than Aventus. I think that this competes with Bleu de Chanel as one of the most, versatile fragrances. And of course, I love my Dior Homme Eau. But overall, it's nice. It's not bad. So talking about that compliment factor, it especially in the high heat, this stuff shined. For me personally, I would like a little bit of salt in there to give it more of an edge, or a little bit more of an ambergris. If you tolerate or like ambergris, you might not think there's enough. And if you kind of dislike ambergris, I think that this one's blended well enough and has enough sensibility that it's not going to smell too much like, ambergris, or that, kind of musk, perhaps salty kind of vibe. But overall, it is a big compliment getter. Every time I've worn it, people thought it was very easy to love, a great cologne kind of smell, but had a unique freshness to it, and they thought it was a little bit classy. So that's a great thing. And again, I think that this should be compared more to Bleu de Chanel than Aventus, because what it's accomplishing is essentially like a fresh version of Bleu de Chanel, in my personal opinion. So overall, it's a good fragrance. And with the price, though, that's where it gets hurt. Now, ROJAs are very expensive. Some of their fragrances go beyond $1,000. It's a very exclusive house, very pricey. I don't think I'll ever be able to afford a bottle. Again, Scentbird has an amazing deal going on right now. It's about 8 mils for, the $15 at the full price subscription. And if you do the math, if you were to buy the juice alone, it's $30 plus at least. So you're really getting your money's worth. And of course, I'll put a link below if that's something you're interested in, because getting a full-size bottle of this, I believe it's about $280. Perhaps if you find a good deal or a discount, close to $250, but really it's about $300, and the extrait is, I think, $400 plus. So sky's the limit. It's a very expensive fragrance, but it's very well done. If you already have Bleu de Chanel, I think you could layer, especially if you have pineapple vintage intense. I think that you could just layer and you'd get a better overall product and save money. But overall, this is a very well done fragrance. It's well composed. It's a real compliment getter. For my taste personally, I like uber masculine fragrances a lot of the time, or really citrus heavy fragrances if I'm going to mess with citrus at all. So I would go for pineapple vintage intense, and I really need to get my hands on Emperor. But overall, Aventus is a really good fragrance, even though I think the price is too much as well. Would I choose this or Aventus? I think I would go with Aventus, but again, because of the price, I mean, I really wouldn't want to go for it. There's so many outstanding clones. I love Al Haramain's La Aventure, as I'm sure y'all know. And there's so many fantastic fragrances out there. I like X-Batch. That feels more versatile to me, more casual, even lighter, and it kind of does the same thing as ELYSIUM does here. So overall, Pineapple Vintage Intense is highly recommended. Aventus is great, but the projection and longevity, some people say it's not what it was, but I don't think it suffers as much as some people make it out to be. I don't even own a bottle of it, but I still think it's a good fragrance. But again, there's so many fantastic clones out there. The La Aventure by Al Haramain, and of course there's the Club de Nuit Intense. I think that one sells perhaps the best. That one smells like a smoky batch of Aventus, I'm sure y'all know. So I'm sorry if I digressed a little bit there, but thank y'all so much for being here. Let me know if you've wanted a review of ELYSIUM, if this is something you've been looking forward to. That's what the bottle looks like, of course. I should have shown that in the beginning. But thank y'all so much for being here. This is a quality fragrance. It's getting hype. It's kind of loved. So let me know if this fragrance deserves the love, if it's good enough for the price. I would love to know your thoughts below. If you would ever fork out that kind of money for this kind of fragrance, or any fragrance. So let me know your thoughts. This is a good fragrance overall. It doesn't suit my personality. I'm going to be rocking Acqua di Gio Essenza and Bulgari, you know, the original Aqua. So thank y'all so much for staying tuned. More reviews are coming, and y'all know what to do. Wear what you love. I'll see you next time. This has been the Scented Fragrance channel, and I'll see y'all next time. Have a good one, my friends. Bye.